Oh, yes. It's a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Ain't no doubt about it. Excuse me, you are off camera, and if we can't see you, why are you screaming about UConn? UConn don't matter.
This is my guy right here.
Hey, baby, we talk about relevant stuff here, all right? Dan Orlovsky had the audacity, the unmitigated goal to try to show up against me. Hey, Elvis, how you doing?
Oh, my God.
Oh, right away.
Take to the house.
Okay.
Let's go.
Lamar hasn't won one against you yet.
You know that he's going to go out there and put up points.
How do you get over the hurdle of the Chiefs?
Kryptonite. We just got to tighten up and play better.
We just have a lot of belief in this team. We think that we can win no matter what the situation is.
Into the end zone. Jackson back to the end zone, caught for the touchdown.
It's going to be an intense game, a fun game. I can't wait to get after
it. Good day. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. Thank you for being with us on this Friday Eve. What, Mr. Smith?
Well, I want to say good morning to Dan Orlovsky and stuff like that. And I just want to say for the record, before we get into the debate and everything like that, you know, I'm not laughing at people being injured. I really am not laughing at people being injured. All right, I wish DeMarcus Lawrence the best. I want him to get back on that field, be healthy. I don't wish injury on anybody. But how many times do I have to tell Cowboy fans, just wait.
You are unbelievable.
Just wait, just be patient. Something will happen.
You
this
are
is who
so
they are.
wrong for this.
Zach Martin was on the COVID list last week. Zach Martin was on the COVID list last week. You got DeMarcus Lawrence getting hurt. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me, Leo Collins suspended. You got,
Michael Gallup won't be available.
Randy Gregory, he on the COVID list. Did y'all hear Leon Lett, who's the coach? He's coach. He had to get carried off the field yesterday.
Hold on.
You can't make this up. You can't make this up.
Hold on, Stephen A.
Will go wrong when it comes to them damn Cowboys. That's all I wanted to say.
Stephen A., before we get going and me having to mop you up today, two things.
Boy,
while you're a man after my own heart, dogging the Cowboys right now, you called me Elvis. You're the last person at ESPN that should be talking about your hair versus mine.
Excuse me.
Okay. Let's make that clear.
I mean, come on.
With the five head. You got a five head, not a forehead.
I'm losing. Excuse me, youngster. I have age on my side. I look pretty damn good to be in my 50s. The bottom line is I wasn't dogging the hair. I'm just saying, damn, I didn't know Elvis. I thought Elvis left the building. I didn't know he was still here. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't get
We're going to have some fun. You both look very handsome. I like the outfits. Dan, so happy you're here. The only other place I'd want to see you is coaching UConn football in stores, but I will take you here on
Don't wish that on them. Don't wish that on them.
All
right.
Let's go. I know what I'll be doing. 8:20 on Sunday.
One player that you haven't beaten yet?
No, it's not about, man, Mahomes. Not to me, probably to everyone else, but, it's the Ravens versus Kansas City Chiefs.
Lost it.
Here you go.
All right. Dealing with some technical difficulties over here, but we will figure this out.
Got it,
Dan, I will start with you. Do you agree or disagree with Lamar that it's not about him versus Mahomes, but the Ravens versus the Chiefs?
I completely agree with Lamar. I would actually argue that one of the main reasons why the Ravens lost to the Raiders on Monday Night Football was Lamar was trying to do so much. He was trying to be Superman in a situation where his team needed him to be Superman. And I think one of the main mistakes, or one of the biggest mistakes a quarterback can make going into any game, is thinking I got to do everything myself. That I got to try and kind of put my impetus. One of the best tight ends in football. Okay,
yes,
he's one of the best tight ends in football. Three catches on Monday Night Football. You got to step up. I need you to step up in a big game. The last time the Ravens played the Chiefs, you had 3 catches. Mark Andrews, you're paid all that money to play your best in big-time games. So I agree. This has got to be a Ravens versus the Chiefs rather than Lamar versus Patrick.
Well, you're wrong. And I'm going to tell you why you're wrong, because that's not reality. You're breaking it down scientifically because being the astute football analyst you are, and I certainly am not challenging your football knowledge. You know me better than that. You're that dude. But here's the reality of the situation. I'm a pundit, but I'm a fan as well. And I'm on the outside looking in. If you want to go into the specifics and the nuances of it, of course, in reality, that's what it comes down to. But that's not how it's going to be judged, Dan Orlovsky, and you know better than that. The reality is that we look at Lamar Jackson and we see a stud, a superstar athlete, an electrifying box office caliber player who a lot of people would be looking at and they say, okay, your level of accuracy needs to increase. The amount of wins and losses they had against one another. And so at the end of the day, Dan, that's what it's going to come down to. You're going to look at Lamar Jackson, credit to him because of his electrifying talent and his greatness. We're going to also look at what he's missing because we know what Patrick Mahomes got. You don't get to, if you're Lamar Jackson, you don't get to ignore that. You can try, but it ain't going to work.
All right, two things. This is one of the reasons why I love Patrick Mahomes and I hate Patrick Mahomes, because we compare everybody to Patrick Mahomes. Lamar can still be great and play great and not be in the same stratosphere as Patrick because he isn't. As a quarterback, Patrick Mahomes has been already comped to some of the greatest ever. We've talked about him being the most impressive or most talented guy we've ever seen come into the NFL. So for Lamar to think, I got to go do that or I got to go be that, then you're automatically going to kind of minimize your impact. I go back to
not what I'm saying, though.
But you're saying you're going to compare his performance to Patrick Mahomes'.
But here's what I mean by that. I'm not talking about Patrick Mahomes throws for 400 yards, so Lamar Jackson has to throw for 400 yards. Patrick Mahomes completes 70% of his passes, so Lamar Jackson has to complete at least 65% of his passes. That's not what I'm saying. Right. Be who you are. But from an impact perspective that leads to a win, you're 0-3 against this brother. You're going up against him. We're going to count the L's as they continue to accumulate. Whatever it is that you do that works for you, it needs to be good enough to beat that dude. And otherwise, we're going to say, yo, you're not winning against this dude.
Yeah, and I agree with that. My mind goes back to, you remember the Monday Night Football game against the Browns last year?
Yeah.
Do you remember anything Lamar did in the first or second quarter? Because I don't.
But
I remember the fourth quarter.
That's right.
I remember those plays in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But that's my thing, is if Lamar is going to go and say, I've got to go be so special and so great, he's going to play poorly. In the first and second quarter, he will play poorly because he's going to be trying to do so much. But if he just keeps his team in the game and doesn't try to be special until the moments where special is needed, then they got a shot. But it's going to take a little bit from Mark Andrews, and it's going to play a little bit from their defensive coordinator. Steve Nate, that's the reality, though.
Listen, you got Sammy Watkins, you got Hollywood Brown, you got Mark Andrews. These brothers can play. They're not scrubs, but let's call a spade a spade. Lamar Jackson needs to be special in order for Baltimore to win most weeks.
Agree.
So if that's the reality, why shouldn't he have that mentality when you're going up against somebody as special as Patrick Mahomes, as Tyreek Hill, as Travis Kelce? Now, he ain't the only one that needs to have a commitment to be as special. Mark Andrews needs to look at Travis Kelce on the opposite side of the field and say, I need to be on that level. Sammy Watkins needs to look at his former teammates like a Tyreek Hill and be like, I need to be on that level. Certainly you need to be able to do, other guys need to step up. But Lamar Jackson can't be like, well, you know what? I'm just going, you know what? It's not about me and Mahomes. People are going to look at it and it's going like this. We know Mahomes going to show up. Are you going to show up? That's all we're saying. We ain't saying nothing more than that, Dan.
I'm with that. That's fair.
We'll leave it there. Chiefs favored by 2.5.
See the wisdom? See how Dan embraced the wisdom? I mean,
Dan loves learning about quarterbacks from you, Stephen A.
Right.
That's what he told me in private. He's like, I need to come on first thing and get schooled about the quarterback position so I can help break things down.
We all know I'm playing because that brother's got more football than I know.
Or the starter, Daniel Jones.
Excuse me. Of course it's the backup Taylor Heineke. I mean, what are y'all talking about? I mean, listen, y'all. I mean, come on, y'all.
I need a raise.
Can we stop? Can we stop it? Can we stop it, guys? I know y'all live.
Can you stop it?
I want to say this. First of all, Daniel Jones went to Duke. He didn't go to UConn. Y'all don't need to be embracing that.
So a secondary university.
Hold up. They're both basketball schools.
I'm just saying. I understand that, but you don't need to be embracing him like that. You don't need to be embracing him like that. He didn't go to UConn. That's number one. Number two, 40 turnovers since 2019, 18 fumbles. The brother can't hold on to the ball. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Okay, Taylor Heineke. Now, we haven't seen much of him, but he did quarterback in a playoff game. We saw how he played pretty damn good against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We saw him come in after Fitzpatrick got hurt on Sunday. He completed more than 7.
Dan, you're the one debating, but this one's a little personal for me.
It is. You always get personal about the Giants and UConn, but we'll talk about that later, Molly. We'll talk about that later.
Dan, go ahead, but you have to say the play calling hasn't been exceptional by Jason Garrett.
At least Molly didn't get up out of her chair this time, Dan.
Steelers. All right, so Daniel Jones is the better quarterback, but it's a lot closer than it should be. Okay. And everyone knows where I stand. Since the moment they took Daniel Jones in New York, I was like, you should not take this kid, number 6. But Molly, your point, love watching tape. It's painful. I look at it like this, Stephen A. If you flip the situation, if I took Taylor Heineke and put him with the New York Giants, and then I took Daniel Jones and put him with some skill position in Washington, I truly believe that we see a different version of Daniel Jones. I don't ever think Daniel Jones is going to be a great player. I don't think he has the physical ability to go be a great player in today's NFL at the quarterback spot. But I think Taylor Heineke, for the solid player that he is much more limited than a Daniel Jones is. Daniel Jones is just in the worst situation in the NFL when it comes to quarterback play. Let me say this to you.
Here's the problem with you, and I'm not even addressing the Molly thing because Molly did everything but stand up out of her chair because she get emotional about her New York Giants, and I'm just not going to. I can't say anything to Molly because I say the Giants uniforms don't look that great. Molly's ready to be apoplectic. I mean, I'm just not going to even go there. Here's the deal.
Good.
Here's the reality of the situation.
You know better.
You know this, Dan, and you know this too, Molly.
What?
I'm just looking at some of these cats on their roster, right? Sterling Shepard, can he play?
He can play.
Galladay, can he play?
Solid player.
Kyle Rudolph's your backup tight end now. You got him from Minnesota. We know he can play, right? This kid, Kadarius Toney, out of Florida. I mean, this brother, listen, they're talking about the potential, how electrifying he could potentially be as a playmaker, right? Yeah. Did it ever occur to y'all, because I want you to understand something. I'm not trying to act like Taylor Heineke is so special.
Sure.
I'm denigrating Daniel Jones based on his penchant for turnovers. What I'm saying to you, and it's a question more so than anything else, Dan, is it possible that the New York Giants are as archaic as they are because they don't believe in their quarterback? Is that possible?
No, I think they are as archaic as they are because their offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett, doesn't know anything else. This is the same offense that he ran 15 years ago. It's the same offense that he ran with Tony Romo. Stephen A., I'm with you. We see Daniel Jones relatively the same. Okay, gives the ball away way too much. I want him to play as smart as he is. But it's really difficult to sit here and crush him as a player. When I watch that offense, and I'm literally being honest here, it's the worst offense in the NFL scheme-wise. There's not a single moment where the players are put at an advantage because of the scheme. They're often put as a disadvantage. I think if I'm taking the players and just removing them from situations, I still believe Daniel Jones is better. But to your point, it should not be this close. He was the 6th pick of the draft. Taylor Heineke's a journeyman that's been on 4 different teams. But Daniel Jones, I still think, is a better player.
Dan, we got to go to break quick, but real quick, I just want to know this for the Giants because something has to happen. If somebody had to be cut, who is it at this point for you? Who are you pointing the finger at? Is it Gettleman for drafting him? Is it Jason Garrett? Like, what are you doing if you are the So Stephen A. saying it's Garrett right now. Like, what are you doing if they get beat down tonight?
I agree with Stephen A. I'm moving on from Jason Garrett. Now, maybe Freddie Kitchens is the answer, who had some moments when he came in with Baker Mayfield, but then he was the head coach. He was terrible. There's a difference between being a good head coach and a good play caller and a good offensive mind. I think it's Jason Garrett.
Gettleman is gone at the end of the season if the Giants don't do something this year. He's on his way out. John Mara, you listen to him coming into the season. It's clear they're going to make change. They ain't tolerating this so much longer. Okay, we understand that. I think their record like now under Gettleman is like 15-34, Dan, if I remember correctly. It's like 15-34.
Bad.
John Mara's not tolerating that any longer. But based off of what Dan is saying, Jason Garrett has to go if this offense remains as predictable. And there's nothing about Joe Judge that says he's averse to change. Which is why what you're saying kind of surprises me because I'm thinking it's the limitations of Daniel Jones that has them this way because they didn't acquire all of this talent to be as predictable as you say they are.
And I know we got to go, Molly. I think it should be the flip in New York. Because I don't think that they should try to put limitations on Daniel Jones. I really think because of his athleticism, they should unleash him a little bit, but they try to box him. Molly, Giants fans can sit at home tonight and know exactly where Daniel Jones is going to be in the pocket every single snap.
That's
They
a
don't move
problem.
him at all for a guy who's a good athlete. I agree,
Okay.
Stephen A. If they don't play well tonight, they have to look at it because they got to win, to Stephen A's point. They have to look at the offensive coordinator spot. The three of us can put together a better offense by next week easily.
Yeah, that's scary. I mean, except for you. You know what, Stephen A., I think 2022 is my year as a sports fan.
Yeah, it ain't 2021.
No,
It ain't 2021.
it is not,
It ain't
especially
2021.
after that Purdue game Saturday.
That's right.
All right, next on
You
First
actually
Take,
went.
it's the
You actually
quarterback
went to the game.
situation.
Puppies.
I sure
All right,
did. That everybody has an opinion on. Do the Bears continue to roll out Andy Dalton as a QB1, or does Dan think now is the best time to inject Justin Fields? Plus, speaking of Mr. Orlovsky, he comes bearing gifts today, Stephen A.
Oh,
a
no.
stunning surprise. I don't even know about it. I'm told it's going to leave you shook. I actually don't really like surprises, so I'm a little bit nervous.
I love Dan. It's
Oh,
all right.
my
It's okay.
goodness.
Don't need no credit, I just bank on me. Bank, 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 bank.
Dan Orlovsky, I understand you really came to face Mr. Smith today, and I'm hearing that you have prepared a little something for Stephen A. Okay, let's roll that tape.
Oh, Lord.
All right, Stephen A. So I'm always coming on your show, and you're always saying, like, I'm watching you, you're paying attention to everything I say because you want to try and jump on me and my take. So I wanted to let you know that I'm also watching you, and there's some things that I want to share with you when it comes to the way you go about your business. First of all, as we watch this tape, watch your feet and all the movement that it has. Stephen A., put your feet in the ground and be where you are. This is not dance class lessons with Stephen A. Smith and Michael Irvin. Keep your feet where you are. Number one, I'm going to talk about that left hand in the pocket. There's a theme here. That's step number one with you. Number two is this. Here we go. Watch. We're going to get this with look at my guy, Big Wood. Big Wood has got vision on the people at home. The people at home are tuning in to listen to the things that you have to say. What are you looking at over here? You should be paying attention to the people in the camera. They're tuned in to watch you. But we're going to watch another thing here. Number two, Stephen A., keep your hands out of your pockets. Also, can I get a bone-in filet? What is this outfit? Get some better color coordination. Get your hands out of your pockets, Stephen A. This is television. And then the third, look at this. Are you brokering a deal or something with Marcus Spears? Are you guys talking real estate or something? Are you trying to sell him a product? Get your left hand out of your pocket. Stop leaning up against something because you work so many hours that you're so tired. Address the man. He's trying to teach you something about football. And then what is this with your hands? Keep them stationary. Keep your feet still. Stephen A., you're always saying, I'm watching you. I just want to let you know, share those things with you that maybe you can get a little bit better, reach the goals that you want when it comes to this industry. And I'll see you soon. That's right.
I'm going to get you.
That's right.
I'm going to get you.
Just a couple
you don't
nuggets.
know what you done started. You don't know. I mean, you see that?
That was so good, Dan.
First of all, I'm getting all the. Listen, I'm getting Lee Fitting. I'm getting you. I'm getting Swagoo.
That was
Keisha,
so
I'm
good.
getting Mina. I'm getting all the. Everybody was in on it. You see everything. Oh, all of y'all. I'm coming for all. You done started something now. Oh,
Now I know your security blanket.
He used
Left
the big
hand in
board
the
on me and
pocket.
talked
Left
about
hand in
my
the pocket.
outfit.
Left hand in
And
the
talked
pocket,
about my
always.
outfit.
I thought this
Oh,
man
what?
was trying.
Your stance.
I thought he was
mean,
trying to broker some kind of deal with Marcus Spears. Man, I got 3.5 on the rate. Maybe I could get it down to 3.4 or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah, you know, we saw
Oh,
a white
gonna get
coat.
him.
I just wanted to know, can I get a bone-in filet and mac and cheese?
How about when he clowned the outfit?
He did. That was low. I can't believe him of all people.
Looking like a Vader D.
Him with some of them damn suits he be wearing. He talk about my outfit.
Just a
That was a
couple
pretty
nuggets.
fly outfit
You know, we
I
can
had
all
on
get
that day
better.
too. But it's all right. NFL Live.
That was fun. I needed that last dance.
You see
I like that
NFL Live
surprise.
come on in the afternoon, must-see television. Everybody watching
4
it.
o'clock.
And he didn't come on First Take and do this. Oh, no. He used the big board in the studio and just, y'all done started something. That's all I'm going to say. Y'all
Done
going to
started something.
Stephen A., he is watching you.
All right, it's all right.
He is watching
They done
you.
started setting
Oh,
now.
my
Now, I watch
goodness.
NFL Live anyway.
All right.
But now,
Guys,
y'all in trouble.
We're also
Y'all in
watching
trouble.
quarterbacks, especially in Chicago. Let's 2 for 10 yards and a rushing TD off the bench in his NFL debut. Dan, you are up first. Who should the Bears start week 2?
Justin Fields, because it gives them their best chance to win the football game. You know, three things that stand out to me from Molly. I watched the Patriots play this past weekend with Mac Jones. And the number one thing that stood out in my mind was, man, they really built this offense around the things that Mac Jones does well. And they never asked him to do things he can't do. That's good coaching. And I sit here constantly and ask myself, why can't the Bears do that with Justin Fields? I understand that the Bears have a playbook that is 4 inches thick. And that's a lot of information for a young player to take in. So minimize it a little bit. Build the offense around the things that Justin Fields can do. Because the reality is, and I watched that offensive line play the other night, they weren't atrocious. They weren't by any means great. But everyone was talking about, wow, if you play Justin Fields, there's no doubt that you're going to get him killed. I watched him play. I watched Zach Wilson for the Jets. Everyone remembers the big hit that Justin Fields took in the preseason against the Buffalo Bills. Zach Wilson took the same hit. But his coaches are playing him because that's the best way that he can learn. And I'm sitting here going, if the Bears truly want to win football games, because it's not necessarily the question of who's the better quarterback right now. If you want to have the conversation that Andy Dalton might be a better NFL quarterback right now, I could sit here and have that vibe. But it should be this. Who's the better quarterback for the offense? Or what offense is better given the quarterback that is playing? And that's Justin Fields. Marcus Spears said it this week. I watched the Atlanta Falcons get absolutely run through by the Philadelphia Eagles. And they took an athletic quarterback in Jalen Hurts and built an offense around him with some of the RPOs and the quarterback run game. And Marcus said it. You have an advanced version of Jalen Hurts in Chicago. You have a significantly more talented version. If you just build an offense around him, the Bears have a legit chance to win football games. Because I go into every week, and I'll go into week 2 when they play the Bengals, and I go, I expect the Bengals to win this football game. Mainly because I have no faith in their offense.
Well, see, here's the deal. We disagree, but I don't disagree with the points that you're making about what the Bears need to do. Where we disagree is with the timing. The offensive line was much maligned last year. Supposedly it showed modicum incremental improvement last year, and then they're coming back this year. But all throughout the offseason, into the preseason, in the training camp, obviously training camp and preseason, people were still talking about their offensive line. We all know, and this is what I'm shocked that you didn't bring up. You know good and damn well the only reason that you would sit up there and throw Justin Fields in there at this particular moment in time is if you're Nagy or Ryan Pace and you're thinking about your job, not about what's in the best interest of the team moving forward. Again, we know that Justin Fields is going to be the starter. By week 4, I predict he'll probably be the starter. But my point is, right now, Andy Dalton going up against his former team, the Cincinnati Bengals. He just completed 71% of his passes last week. He wasn't god-awful. They seem like they're trying to get it together. So it's almost by default that I'm saying this, Dan Orlovsky. Listen, they've been to the playoffs, but we haven't been overly impressed with Matt Nagy. Right. We know him and Ryan Pace are under immense pressure because you moved up in the draft to get Mitchell Trubisky years ago. You passed up on Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. You've been struggling. You haven't been able to live it down. You brought Nick Foles up in there. That didn't work out. Mitchell Trubisky ain't even there no longer. He's a backup in Buffalo to a $258 million man that ain't going to be sitting down, okay? Which means he's just going to be holding the clipboard and practicing. He ain't going to be playing come Sunday. The bottom line is when you look at the Chicago Bears, if you put Justin Fields in before all your ducks are in a row, you might be jeopardizing him. That's my issue. Again, he's going to be the quarterback. I'm just saying, wait a couple of weeks. Now, you should be able to hold your own against Cincinnati, even though they on the come up. That's my only issue, Dan Orlovsky. That's where I'm coming from.
My pushback would be this. You're only going to ruin a player, because that happens a lot at the quarterback spot, if they can't do it here. And that's why you got to know Justin Fields. This isn't Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a big, thick guy. Like, he is going to be able to absorb some of the hits that he might take with some of the protections. Can he deal with some of the struggle? And if you believe that he can, there's no question about it, Stephen A., that you put him on the field. And this is the point that I think is the most important in the whole situation and the Bears fans should be paying attention to. Again, it's not necessarily who we think is the best quarterback. When each of them plays, which one makes the best offense? Because I know exactly what this offense is with Andy Dalton. It is a bottom 10 offense at best, given the limitations up front, somewhat of the limitations at the skill position and the scheme. Justin Fields makes this offense in totality better. And if you're going to sit here as a coach and say, you know what, he's not ready to play, that's on you. Because I just pointed out Mac Jones and the Patriots.
But we know it's on them. But we know it's on them. Matt Nagy is not Bill Belichick.
Right.
We know it's not them.
So what changes in 3 weeks then? Are they going to be better? What changes in 2 or are they going to be better coaches in 3 weeks?
Well, no, but I do think that additional time would hurt Justin Fields because remember, I don't think that Justin Fields should be thrown into the Lions then against the Cleveland Browns a week from now, a week after Cincinnati. So my point is this: you go week 4 and on, you give him that first quarter of the season, pretty much that. And then after that, you give it to him. Until then, you got Andy Dalton in there. You're bringing Justin Fields in there to do some plays for you. You've got duality at the quarterback position in terms of the weapon that he can present to you. I'm not saying bench the dude and don't play him. But when you hand the reins to him as the starting quarterback, you can't go back.
But
so why do that in week 2?
Is injury you're worried about, or is injury what you're worried about, being behind that offensive line, or is it more so his confidence?
Well, I'm not worried about his confidence. I am worried about his protection. Yeah. I am worried about how ready Matt Nagy has everybody around him by week 2. I think the additional time is beneficial before Justin Fields is handed the reins, because once you give it to him, you can't take it back.
Yeah,
it's his.
Stephen, I agree with the protection, but here's the point. Because I do college football every weekend, and you talk to some of these coaches, and when you hear college football coaches talk about sometimes we got to play freshman quarterbacks, and we can't give them the whole playbook. We just got to give them little bits and pieces to make sure we ease them in. My question from the jump is, why won't the Bears do that? It's not, we don't have to run all of our protections, but a really good coaching staff could go, you know what, maybe we're not going to do in things that are going to expose him, so to speak, but we can ease him, because the reality is this: his physical talent will mask so many of the things that they are incapable of doing or won't do.
Yeah,
that's
but
the biggest issue.
Whoa. Dan Orlovsky, you were on here a couple years ago. We were talking about Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah.
And you were lamenting how athletic he was,
right,
and how little use was, how little
100%.
he was being utilized in that regard. Same coach,
agree.
Same system, same dudes. So now it's Justin Fields instead of Mitchell Trubisky. Now I think that Justin Fields is an upgrade from Trubisky, but nevertheless, the coaching is the same, the apprehension is the same, and because of that, I'm saying you just go drill Justin Fields up in there. I don't know about that in week 2. I'd feel much more comfortable if they did it week 4 after they played Cleveland in week 3. Utilize Justin Fields coming into the game, throwing a ring, just throwing something into the mix to sort of discombobulate and confuse opposing defenses. Go there in Cincinnati and Cleveland, respectively, over the next 2 weeks. See how that works for you. Get his legs out from under you. Get him started. Get him geared up. Hand him the reins in week 4 and go from there. That's what I would do.
I would say the Chicago Bears should sit down and watch the Philadelphia Eagles film from this past week, watch what the Baltimore Ravens do with Lamar Jackson, watch what the Buffalo Bills do with Josh Allen, and then watch what the Rams do with Matthew Stafford. Figure out, build an offense around that stuff and play Justin Fields as soon as possible.
Well, listen to what you're saying, man.
For them, it's also what saves their job, Dan. Yeah. I wonder if they feel like they're better off playing Dalton for some reason.
I think, Molly, this is a guess, this is an assumption, that I think ownership has given them assurance that they'll be there next year, both head coach and general manager. And that's why they're being so peaceful and patient with this decision.
I will say this.
Interesting.
Hold it. The reports, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, the reports were saying Dalton started because when he was signed, remember, they wanted to trade for Deshaun Watson in the offseason. I'm sorry, not Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. I apologize. That did not happen. So once that did not happen and they acquired Andy Dalton, they made promises to him that he would be the week 1 starter. You see what I'm saying? That's why he started week 1.
Why are you making promises to Andy Dalton?
Because they didn't have anybody. Once they had moved Trubisky, they wanted to make sure they got.
Is that who you should be making promises to?
I'm just saying to start week 1. But now we're talking into the season. I say wait. Use Justin Fields.
It feels like their loyalties are a little bit off.
Give them the reins week 4.
Dan, last word here.
The challenge for the Bears right now is their defensive football team goes into every game thinking they're not going to win until they put Justin Fields on the field.
Okay. Yeah. They're kind of used to that, Dan. They felt that way all last year.
Chicago deserves better.
What's 2 more weeks? They felt that way the whole last season. Okay. What's 2 more weeks? 2 more weeks.
Stephen A., just trust the process.
I'm just saying.
The NFL equivalent of the Warriors. No, you're going to like this. The Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. It's telling a Falcons fan 28-3. Fair or foul? Will this always follow Matt Ryan? Dan says, you have to wait for that. Damian Woody says it's his turn to get at Stephen A. That bad man looked flat out bad against the Saints. Damian to Jalen Hurts and Philly have to travel to Tampa to face Tom Brady and the defending champs. You know, whenever Brady is brought up around Matt Ryan, everyone's mind goes to that Super Bowl collapse in 2017. Here's Matty Ice.
A lot of them made because you played Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, 328 jokes. I know you hear about all the time.
I never heard of it. Listen, of course we want to win this week, but it's not going to make up for that. Like, it's one of those things. It's a part of your past. It's part of what happened. But it's got no bearing on this week.
Dan, let me ask you this. Do you think it's fair or unfair that constantly follows Matt Ryan and is always brought up, that Super Bowl collapse?
Y'all a piece of work. You guys are a piece of work because you guys wanted to bring me on the first day that I come on First Take and ask me if I think it's fair that a single moment or a single play of Matt Ryan's past, if it's fair that it's still brought up about, I might be a person that has a single moment or a single play from their past that constantly I have to get reminded.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, that I constantly.
What are you referring to?
Yeah, I mean, have to get reminded. Oh, look at Dan. He ran. Why would you listen to Dan? He ran out of the end zone in 2008, 14 years ago. So now let's bring Dan on and ask him if it's fair that Matt Ryan has to constantly get asked about the comeback in Super Bowl 46 or whatever it was. No, it's not fair. And no, Matt Ryan doesn't care about it. Sure, he would have loved to have won the game, but he also threw for 270 yards against the number one ranked defense in football last year in that Super Bowl. He also threw for 2 touchdowns. And so while he played incredibly well, he played good. Devontae Freeman's the guy who missed the block. Matt Ryan's not thinking, my tailback is going to miss that block. Edelman has that ridiculous catch. So no, it's not fair. And Matt Ryan doesn't care. He wanted to win the game, but I promise you, he's got 2 commas in his bank account. He's got a lot of numbers, comma, a lot of numbers, comma, a lot of numbers, period. He's made a lot of money playing football. He's had an incredible career, maybe a Hall of Fame career. And no, it's not fair that people will constantly remind him that they made that comeback, the New England Patriots, and he was a part of it.
Oh, would you stop? Just stop it.
Disappointing, y'all.
Wasn't nobody thinking at all about you running out of the end zone 14 years ago. You just told on yourself. I totally forgot about that. I wouldn't have brought it up anyway. It don't matter. The fact of the matter is that ain't what this is about. This is about Matt Ryan. And if somebody was saying he was a scrub or somebody was saying he can't play, that would be unfair. If we sat up there and put blinders on as to how skilled this man has been as a quarterback throughout his career, that would be unfair. But it is totally, totally fair to recall the Super Bowl collapse because of the residue it has left behind. Now, let's take this into consideration. Since that Super Bowl, right, you've had a 10-6 season because you were 11-5 the year you went to the Super Bowl. 10-6, 7-9, 7-8, 4-12 last year, 0-1 now. That is a record of 36 since you have lost the Super Bowl. That's number one. Very few pair appearances, like one or two. All right, you've been missing the playoffs. Number 2, Matt Ryan, and nobody brings this up, but I'm going to get on you, Dan, for not bringing this up. Because as knowledgeable as you are about the game, you should be ashamed of yourself for omitting this. That man was 31 years of age. While I do understand that Kyle Shanahan was his offensive coordinator, that man was in his 9th year in the league at the time that he was in that Super Bowl. We all know if they had ran the football and they had milked the clock, New England would have ran out of time to come back from a 25-point damn deficit the way that they do. They kept throwing the football, and that's what cost them. Number 3, the point is this. You have the cachet. It's not just that you're the starting quarterback, not just that you were a veteran. You have built enough cachet where you could have made those decisions. That didn't happen. Also, since that time, everything has fallen apart. The franchise hadn't seemed to recover. So many changes have taken place. You got a new head coach, new coordinators. Kyle Shanahan, obviously, when he took the head coaching job in San Francisco. I'm looking at you, Matt Ryan, and this team has been nose diving. They have been a shell of what they used to be. Why can't we look at Matt Ryan and go like this? Yo, my brother, you getting over $30 million a year. You're an all-pro quarterback. Dan Orlovsky just brought up how you warrant Hall of Fame consideration. All of this stuff, this residue, has been happening around you. And what have you done about it? Little to nothing. That is the reality. The defense was bad. A lot of injuries. I get over that. But still, figure out a way to win some games. Win some games.
Okay, Stephen A., whether he had won that Super Bowl or not would not have impacted the future. Kyle still would have
called you a champion. But we would call you a champion.
And you pointed out he's not a champion because of his play. You pointed out he's not a champion because you thought Kyle Shanahan still should have run the football. I remained adamant, and I said this when it happened. I didn't mind the play call by Kyle on that 2nd and 7 because they were going to be aggressive, and that's how they got there. But you can't point out, well, they should have run the football, but then pin it upon Matt Ryan and sit there that he's going to and sit there and say he's going to regret. It was out of his. Devontae Freeman's the guy who doesn't block that person. I'm going to give you this. Yes, in that moment, you would sit there and go, man, you were that close. And surely there's going to be a moment of regret. But it is not something that on a daily basis is going to haunt Matt Ryan. Again, this man has played a ton of really good football. He's made a ton of money. When he hops on the PJ and goes to play golf at some really nice golf courses, he ain't sitting there going, man, I can't believe that
you don't realize this. You opening your mouth, Dan, and you're creating more enemies for for Matt Ryan. I'm going to tell you why. We might not be that way nationwide because we don't give a damn about the Falcons. Down in the ATL, I mean, we've had T.I. on this show. We've had Ludacris on this show. I've had various people from the ATL on this show. None of them can stand Matt Ryan. Oh, they hold that against them. So trust me, it's about your locale. Let's pay attention to that. Let's also pay attention to this reality. You could talk about, oh, you got there because you were being aggressive or whatever. I see Dan Orlovsky come on TV all the time. He on Get Up, he on First Take, he on NFL Live. He's omnipotent. He's every damn way, okay? This is what Dan Orlovsky says. Dan Orlovsky says, where's your eyes? What about your feel, the vibe? Sense what's going on. Make changes, make adjustments. What's wrong with these people? What's wrong with you being in the Super Bowl and going like this? Well, Dan, we had a 28-3 lead. And it's 28-10, and then it's 28-17, and that damn Tom Brady is over on the other sideline. We might want to do things just a touch differently here because the moment is ours. Let's not give this away. But they didn't do that, and they had a veteran quarterback who had the power to tell somebody as significant as Kyle Shanahan, yo, we don't need to do that. I think we need to do this. Matt Ryan didn't do that. He didn't do that. And you got to hold him accountable for that, Dan.
As somebody that has stuff from their past, it's time to move on. It's unfair that we constantly follow Matt Ryan with, you didn't get it done. It's okay to move on. It's okay to move on.
Let me tell you this.
But they're not getting it done.
Hold on. This is a principle I live by.
Stinks.
I do not judge people by their worst moment. And I will leave everyone with that. I want everyone to marinate on that because none of us
She's lying.
Judged by their worst
lying.
No, I'm not.
Molly judges people by their worst moments every day.
When
That's a lie.
When I go to bed at night, I say, where can I be better? And I try not to judge people. I do. Every day I do.
Must be UConn thing.
Both
for y'all.
I say, how could I have been better to Stephen A?
Look at Stephen A. Look how much better you're getting today because of Molly and I.
How can I uplift Stephen A. more so he can fulfill his dreams?
I work beside Molly. Hold on, Molly. I work beside Molly every day. I see you all the time. I'm watching you. You two pick people apart with your critique every day. And she would sit up there on national television with a straight face and say, I don't judge people by their worst moments. She instigates conversations every day.
How does he go with, you could have... I don't judge people by their worst. How does he change his voice like that so quickly?
I don't know. I need a illustration on that.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my goodness.
All right, let's go to break. All right, guys. Based on body language alone, Urban Meyer not exactly looking thrilled so far in Jacksonville. Can't blame him. How enticing does that SC opening look to him? That debate in a bit. Plus, everyone knows how terrible A-Rod looked week 1, but are we overlooking how elite the Saints defense might be this season? Damian Woody with a compelling case. And stick around as Stephen A. and Dan Orlovsky debate that later this show. But first, Stephen A., you have something to say. how people can get at you.
Well, I just want to remind everybody that, there's a new day here. First Take, you and I are still here. Max is doing morning with Keyshawn and Jay Williams. We wish him nothing but the best. Plus, he started his new show, his new television show. This just in, that started, debuted Tuesday. So we wish him nothing but the best. You got a potpourri of analysts that's going to be here. Dan Orlovsky's here this morning. My man Damian Woody's coming up. Ryan Clark's going to be on. Dominique Foxworth. Mondays, Michael Irvin. Tuesdays, Keyshawn Johnson. Wednesdays, Marcus Spears. Fridays, Tim Tebow's. Plus, in the world of sports and entertainment, I'm leaving the seat open for anybody that wanted to get at me, because there's a lot of people that have been chirping about wanting to get at me for quite some time. Well, the chair's open. Feel free to bring it. That's why I'm here.
On that note, that's right, Stephen A., and it's a new day, and we've got a long list of people coming after you, including our very own Damian Woody. He's got something to say.
Well, what is he doing here? What is he doing here?
Two-time Super Bowl champion, Damian Woody.
I was getting tired of seeing that damn piano behind him, like he's Mozart or somebody. I want to be sensitive to Mr. Mozart with the piano.
I might import the piano right here in First Take and just start playing.
I'm a champion.
I'm not going to forget that, Stephen A. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. As you can see, I got the suit, I got the tie looking crispy, because I've been waiting on this day to stand right here with Stephen A. Where you at, Stephen A? Where you at? Don't hide in the studio. Don't hide in the studio from this butt whipping, because you've been talking about this man, this bad man right here. Come on in. Come on. Stand right here. Come on right here. Stand right here. Stand right here. Because you've been talking so much smack. All I hear is he's a bad man. Bad man who couldn't even complete 50% of his passes. Threw for 133 yards and 2 picks against the Saints. That boy Jameis Winston, that boy made him look silly. That boy made him look silly in the same game, throwing 5 touchdown passes. All I want to know is, what do you have to say right here in this moment about your bad man, Aaron Rodgers? I need to know.
Mid bag of shells. Just 1 week. It's no big deal. It's just one game. It's just one game. It's going to be all right. You understand what I'm saying? This is Aaron Rodgers, my man. He's still a bad man. Now, I was very upset at his performance. It was the most atrocious performance I've ever seen Aaron Rodgers put forth. I'll admit that. But if you think for 1 second that I'm going to sit here and be fazed by you coming at me, acting like what you saw Sunday is something that's going to happen continuously, it won't happen again. It will never happen again. It will never happen again.
I will tell you this. Don't let him have a similar type performance this Monday night, because ESPN had Monday Night Football against the Detroit Lions. If I see any semblance of what I saw against the New Orleans Saints, man, I might even not wait until Thursday. I might come up in here on Tuesday morning to see you about Aaron Rodgers.
Damian Woody.
Yes.
Who is the reigning league MVP? Who's that dude? Who's that? That would have to be Aaron Rodgers. That would have to be Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
That would be 48 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers, a Super Bowl champion. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers, outside of Patrick Mahomes, considered the greatest talent the quarterback position has ever seen. He's not the GOAT resume-wise. We know that's Tom Brady. But this is Aaron freaking Rodgers. He's a bad man still. Now, I'm very upset at what I saw. It took me aback. I had to sit up there and I had to lick my wounds. I had to say, what the hell happened? I can't believe this happened. But in the end, it's one game. As Ralph Cramden said on the honeymoon, it's a mere bag of shells. It's no big deal. It's no big deal.
No, but you know what?
It's no big deal.
No, but you know what? But see, you know what? It is a big deal. Because all offseason, we talked about this bad man every single day. Every single show I've been on, this whole offseason, we were talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Why were we talking about him?
The whole conflict with the organization.
That's right.
He was in Hawaii. He was in LA. He was all over the map.
With the fiancé. Let's make sure that's the point. He wasn't somewhere pouting. He wasn't somewhere pouting. He was living a life.
Well, listen, I would never bash a fiancé.
That's right.
I wouldn't do that. I'm talking about strictly from a football perspective. This man was all over the place, and then here it is, week 1, and this man out here throwing lame ducks to the New Orleans Saints?
Yes.
Can't even complete 50% of his passes?
Jumping in the air, throwing 2 interceptions. But you know why you so shook? You know why you came on the air? You know why you're on the air right now?
Why?
Because you know
Why?
We don't see that from Aaron Rodgers. That's not what we get normally. What's wrong with him? We wonder what. I ain't gonna lie to you. I looked in the tabloids, Molly. I was wondering whether him and his fiance broke up or something. I said, "What's going on? This is not the Aaron Rodgers I know and love." What the hell?
The shoot is crispy. Don't even.
The shoot is crispy.
Yeah, don't even.
I give it to him.
Two questions I have. Two questions.
Yes.
So the first thing is, why do you think he should have saw this coming?
Well, listen, we all know. First of all, you can't sleep on the New Orleans Saints defense.
Okay, talk about the Saints then. Tell me why.
Yeah. You know, as much as
I get he was in Hawaii, but no one thought Aaron Rodgers was going to play like that.
As much as I lambasted Aaron Rodgers, let's give props to the New Orleans Saints here. The New Orleans Saints, I think a lot of people forget. Everybody thought when Drew Brees moved on to the broadcasting booth that the Saints were just going to fall off.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a slap in the face of Sean Payton and that organization. Sean Payton is one of the best head coaches in the National Football League. This man is a quarterback with the South this year.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that because their defense was real last year. Let's give props where it's due. They shellacked Tampa Bay not once but twice. Let's remember what they're capable of doing. We understand that the question mark was Jameis Winston and whether or not he was going to be able to protect the ball as opposed to turning it over. But to get back to Aaron Rodgers, let me be very, very clear. You can come up in here huffing and puffing like swag all you want to. Y'all can do all of that.
Well, I'm my own man. I'm my own man.
I understand that.
Okay, I'm my own man. But go ahead.
You're a champion. But here's the reality of the situation. Because you're a champion, you know you just blowing smoke. You know what this brother's gonna do. You know what it is because you've seen him do it, and that's why you. Hold on. That's why you jumped in here this morning. You know why you jumped in here this morning? Because you know you ain't gonna be able to do this again. You know you ain't gonna be able to do this again. Not for him. Not what about him?
Wait a minute, hold on. You talking about the same guy that the last time we saw him in the Super Bowl was in what 2011?
So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Since you want to huff and puff, I mean, since you want to huff and puff, I'm just being real.
I feel you on that.
Okay.
He needs to get another Super Bowl. But what I'm saying to you is this. You ain't never seen him play that bad, and you'll never see it again. That's why you in here today, because you know this brother going to play like an MVP the rest of the way because he's one of the greatest ever. He's going to show up. He's going to make amends for that atrocious performance this past Sunday, and you're going to come up here and every week, he was you're going to try to hate, but it don't matter. It don't matter.
Molly, let me tell you something right now.
Yeah.
I promise you on everything. If we see anything remotely like we saw week one, I promise you, come Tuesday morning next week, I don't care if y'all got me in the script or not. I am walking in here with all the smoke.
You're invited.
Tuesday morning. I promise you.
Stephen A., do you need security right now getting back to your desk? Or are
he
you
can do that. You know why?
Because you look very small.
No. Who the hell doesn't look small next to this guy?
That is true.
The point is,
true.
here's the reality. I ain't worried about it. It's the Detroit Lions. I ain't worried about no damn Detroit Lions when it comes to Aaron Rodgers.
You know
I'm not worried about it at all.
Detroit on the show. You know he had a few years in Detroit.
I don't know.
But we're not going to even talk about that.
That's right.
We
don't want to do that. Don't want to do that.
Hey, did you cash the checks?
Yes.
Okay.
The check's clear.
So we can talk about it.
Listen, in the end, Aaron Rodgers is so special. It's just an aberration.
Oh, my goodness. Let's
it's
go to
nothing
break.
to think about. I probably want to.
It's uncomfortable
Why don't you say goodbye to him? Because you might not see him again because he ain't going to be able to say nothing about Aaron Rodgers after this. That's all I got to say. Ain't nobody scared of you. Ain't nobody scared of you. Watch Aaron Rodgers.
That's why you walking backwards.
He's a bad man.
That's why you walking backwards.
That's why I'm walking backwards. That's what I'm doing.
Don't worry. I'm saying hi to you, not bye to you.
I know.
Because I know you'll be back.
We like that.
Yeah. All right. When we come back here on First Take, Urban Meyer has worn a lot of hats. Ohio State, Florida, now Jacksonville. But does he have an SC cap on his mind, or will he stay put in Jacksonville? We'll answer that. Damien will be back with us a little later. 2 former #1 overall picks. 2 of them have the best arm talents in the NFL, Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. But who's going to have the better career? What a debate that will be in just a bit. His former coach.
Okay.
Here's a quick look at Urban Meyer's journey to the NFL. So after going 22-2 with the Utah Utes, Meyer was brought on as the head coach for the Florida Gators. Meyer won 5 bowl games in 6 seasons with the Gators, including 2 national championships with Tim Tebow. After a short retirement, Meyer went on to coach the Ohio State Buckeyes. Listen to this, Stephen A. 83-9 record in 7 seasons in Columbus, including winning a national title in 2014. He again retired from coaching in 2019 after the Rose Bowl. Meyer again came out of retirement, but this time made the jump to the NFL, to a Jags team coming off their worst season in franchise history and earning them the right to draft Trevor Lawrence #1 overall.
No chance that I'm here and committed to try to build an organization.
Okay. So what he was teed up about is that SC job. If Urban Meyer would jump ship on Jacksonville, doesn't appear to be the best situation, and would want to coach SC. Dan, if you're Urban, would you go back to college football and do that?
I would, because then I could play to my strength. The thing that separated Urban Meyer from everybody else, or mostly everybody else in his 13 years between Florida and Ohio State, was recruiting. In those 12 recruiting classes, Molly, he had 9 top 3 classes. You're going to win a lot of football games when you got that much talent. And that's what really Urban's strength was. You're not going to be able to do that in the NFL. In the NFL, it's about, well, you get given the players that you get, and you got to develop those players to become pros. And the losing is going to be at a significantly higher rate than it is going to be at the college level. There's a reason why Urban won all those games. The biggest difference between the NFL and college football, and I'm around both of them working for ESPN, is college football is about recruiting. It is about getting as much talent as you can, because you only got it for 3 or 4 years. How much young talent can you get as quickly as possible? The NFL is about having 3 or 4 players that are very good, and then having a bunch of really good players that you scheme up to be elevated talent-wise. That's why coaches in the NFL are such a big deal when it comes to scheme, where recruiting in college football is such a big deal. Urban Meyer belongs in college football because it plays to his greatest strength.
That is an utterly ridiculous take. And let me tell you, that it is not
fact.
It is an utterly ridiculous take. I tell you what, Dan Orlovsky, you know what? I appreciate you being on First Take. Honored to have you. You're doing a great job. But, excuse me, why don't you just leave and go and call college football games? Why don't you start calling NFL football games? Why don't you quit NFL Live, okay? You know what? Because far be it to diversify your portfolio. I mean, we just want to take we just want to take the easy lane. Excuse me. What else does Urban Meyer have to prove? Stay with me. Utah. He started at Bowling Green, Bowling Green State, okay? After that, Utah, 22-2 in 2 years. That's a 91.7% winning percentage. Florida, okay, that's 65-15, 81%. Ohio State, as you said, 83-9, 90%. 17 years at the helm. The man won 85% of his game, 3 national titles. Good. Like you talked about the 9, the recruiting classes. I mean, come on now. What else does he have to prove? What you're basically saying, Dan, is this. That's your lane. You're great at that. Why even try anything else? Did it ever occur to you that because he's so great at what he's done, he mastered the college game? So now let me see what I could do on a pro level, particularly with a talent like Trevor Lawrence. I don't know if you saw this, Dan, but not only am I hosting First Take and I cover the NBA. Did you see me hosting Jimmy Kimmel Live? Did you see me?
I did.
Did you see me?
I watched some of those late nights.
I did late night. I did late night.
Why? Not a bad job.
Why? Because it ain't easy. It's new. I want to diversify the portfolio and show my potential. You sit up there. You're calling college games. You're on Get Up. You're on NFL Live. Now you up here on First Take. You diversify your portfolio. Oh, but Urban Meyer, he needs to stay in his lane. He just needs to do this right here. Stop it. That's ridiculous. Let this man show that on a professional level he could do it. Remember when he showed up, when he was on Soft Knocks, not Hard Knocks. I call it Soft Knocks because it was Cowboys. When he was on Soft Knocks,
very disrespectful.
You remember after he finished playing the preseason game against the Cowboys, he went up and shook Mike McCarthy's hand. Yeah. And they were talking for a brief second, and he talked about, ain't no recruiting. I just get to focus on football. I don't have to focus on all of that other stuff. He said that. That's what he said right there on the field. Pay attention to that.
All right, 2 things. When you say, well, you should just go call a college game or just, that's me. I'm not going to be dependent on so many other aspects for my success. Now, Mina and Ruddy and Marcus, they make me look way better than I am because they're such good teammates. But I'm in control of how I perform. When you are a coach, you're dependent on the players that are around you for success. That's the difference between your analogy and the reality of coaching. You know what Urban Meyer hates more than anything, Stephen A? Losing. You know what where he could control it more? In college football, not in the NFL.
But give him some time to explore the NFL level. You got Trevor Lawrence.
You can build around that.
It's about building and improving and seeing if you could get it done.
Did you watch the Jaguars get absolutely mud-holed by the Texans in week 1?
They don't have much, Dan. It's the first year.
Hold on. I have a question for you, though, Dan. You wouldn't hold it against Urban Meyer in any way if he just jumped ship right now on the Jags when they have Trevor Lawrence and went to the SC job because it's more appealing after 2 weeks?
I would hold it against him. I would not be shocked.
He won't do that. If he were to do it.
Would you, Stephen A? Would you
hell yes, I would hold it against him. You owe the organization more than that. At least complete your first damn year. At least complete the season. Where USC going? Nowhere.
We've seen it, though.
If Urban Meyer said to them, wait until the end of the NFL season, they do it. They do it.
He might.
Okay. Well, then come talk to me then. But don't tell me he should leave now. Why? Let's see what he got. Let's see what he can do. What happens
if USC says to him, hey, we got to know now. If not, we're going to go to a guy like Mario Cristobal or Jeff Hafley or.
Well, good luck. Good luck.
Maybe he'll say, well, when that doesn't work out, give me a call.
Good luck with that. He'll get over it. The taxes are high in California.
We'll leave it there, guys. Yeah, a lot cheaper in Jacksonville. Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, both taking #1, both dominated in college and 2 of the best arms in the league. Who's going to have the better career, though, when it's all said and done? Stay tuned. First Take. Browns led by as many as 12 points in Week 1 against the Chiefs, but another comeback win for Patrick Mahomes delivered Baker's squad their 17th straight season-opening loss, extending the longest streak in NFL history. The other Ohio team, the Bengals, picked up a win in Week 1 by beating the Vikings 27-24 in OT. Former LSU teammates Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase hooked up for 101 yards and a TD, the most receiving yards by a Bengals rookie in a season opener. The Ravens got out to a 14-0 lead against the Raiders, but lost 33-27 in OT. It was their first time losing a regular season game with a 14-point lead since 2004, when they were 81-0 and holding a lead that large under John Harbaugh. The Steelers beat the Bills 23-16 to earn their first season opening win. When trailing by 10 points at halftime, it was Big Ben's 9th career win in a season opener, breaking a tie for Terry Bradshaw for the most in a franchise history during the Super Bowl era. Damian Woody, Dan Orlovsky back here with us, guys. Lots of great quarterbacks, obviously, in the AFC North, so it might be time for a little intervention for Stephen A's Steelers. Damian. Is Big Ben the worst quarterback in the AFC North?
Oh my God.
Yes. Yes, he is. Yes, I'm addressing you, Stephen A. Big Ben is the worst quarterback in the AFC North. And the one thing about this division, they got some young dogs at the quarterback position, okay? Yeah. Joe Burrow. Look, listen, Joe Burrow is a surgeon. Dan, you know this, watching Joe Burrow. He's an absolute surgeon out there on the football field. His whole thing with the Cincinnati Bengals, can they protect him enough so he can survey the field and do his thing? Case closed with that one, okay? Baker Mayfield, the much maligned Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, right now, Baker Mayfield is playing at a very, very high level. I might say elite level with his accuracy, okay? Don't just harp on the interception. I know everyone's going to talk about that, but if you go back to last year and what Baker Mayfield did in the first game this year against the Kansas City Chiefs, Baker Mayfield has been playing at an elite level, okay? And then Lamar Jackson. Come on, Stephen A. Lamar Jackson, the former league MVP. He's basically just putting the whole Baltimore Ravens organization on his back. Arguably, between him and Kyler Murray, the best dual threat quarterbacks in the National Football League. And where we see Big Ben at, Big Ben, we know he's a Hall of Famer, okay? We know he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. I get all of that. But we're not living in the past right now as it relates to Big Ben when we're talking about Big Ben. We're talking about right here, right now. He is the worst quarterback in the AFC North, period.
Just blasphemy. It's disgusting to listen to you right now. I can't believe these words came out of your mouth. Lamar Jackson is electrifying. I'm not going to even argue about that. All right. I get what he brings to the table. It's just a different dimension. What the hell is Baker Mayfield proven? Now, I believe in Baker Mayfield, and I believe that his upside is going to be great. And I think that ultimately he's going to get to where he's going. Got himself in better shape, moving better in the pocket, has better pocket presence. He's throwing the football a little bit better. But this dude the biggest thing about him is that he went from 21 interceptions to 8 interceptions last year. Okay. So we understand that there's an upward trajectory that we're paying attention to, along with the coaching of Kevin Stefanski, and we give him credit. That don't make him better than Ben. We look at Joe Burrow. He was a rookie last year. He got hurt. He comes back this year, plays against a Minnesota team nobody's bragging about. We know he's got an upside, but what has he actually done? Well, you got to be kidding me. I cannot believe the words that are coming out of your mouth. Ben Roethlisberger, that was a bad year last year. That's what a lot of people are saying. Threw for over 4,500 yards, if I remember correctly, or 4,000 yards, if I remember correctly. Had 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Just stop the presses. Get rid of him. Oh, that's straight garbage. What's the matter with y'all? Now, I understand he's older, and I understand that I would want any of those quarterbacks because they're all younger than him, and he's approaching the last year of his career. I get all of that. It could be this year. It could end next year. We don't know yet. But to sit up there right now and to say, excuse me, if Ben Roethlisberger, he's not better than anybody in the AFC North. That's just blasphemous. That's right. It is disrespectful. Y'all are sitting up there living in the moment. They got some good moments that they gave you. Joe Burrow gave you a good moment last year. Baker Mayfield improved last season, had a coach, had the coaching staff, got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, has Jarvis Landry, had Odell Beckham Jr. before he went down. Listen, it's just amazing to me how y'all gonna just shove aside what Big Ben brings to the table. Y'all gonna pay for this.
You know what?
You're gonna pay for this. Before
I let Dan go, Dan, you know why he talking like this? See, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they won in Buffalo. So now you probably feel like, that's what it is. That's what it is, Dan. They beat Buffalo in Buffalo. That's why you feeling this way.
Wood, I'm trying to think, is Stephen A. more committed to Big Ben than I am to Carson Wentz? Like, that's what I'm getting the vibe here right now. No matter what, he's like, Big Ben's still the best.
Stephen A. The reason for that, Dan. Stephen A. The reason for that, Dan. Carson Wentz doesn't warrant the commitment that Ben Roethlisberger warrants.
All right. Stephen A., I don't want the other guys. First of all, yes, he's the worst quarterback in the AFC North. And I don't want the other guys because they're younger. I want the other guys because they're better. Now, I'm not sitting here dogging Big Ben saying he can't play. I watched the fourth quarter and the throw to Juju and the throw to Claypool. But I would say this, real talk, Wood. You give me Joe Burrow and you give Joe Burrow that Pittsburgh Steelers defense, I'm going to say he's going to win a Super Bowl this year. He's a Super Bowl contender this year. I don't feel that way about the Steelers.
This year?
If you took Joe Burrow.
That's insane.
Stephen A.
You got to be kidding me.
Stephen A. Real talk. Stephen A.
Stop it.
If you put Joe Burrow on the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would sit here, look you dead in the eye and say they got a chance to win the Super Bowl because I was that impressed with their defense. I don't see them as a Super Bowl contender with Big Ben because the reality is they're just going to need Big Ben to make a throw or two in the fourth quarter because the defense is so good. But Joe Burrow, and we're going to get into this a little bit in another segment, I believe. Joe Burrow, a different cat now. He a different kind of animal. Lamar Jackson on the Pittsburgh. Could you imagine Lamar Jackson on the Steelers offense?
Lamar Jackson. I'm not questioning Lamar Jackson.
Give me Baker Mayfield then. I'll go toe-to-toe with you with Baker Mayfield.
Really?
I've been on with you with Baker Mayfield.
We're going to bring up Baker Mayfield. We're going to bring up Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield's better than Big Ben right now.
Hold it, Dan. Wasn't you on Get Up Monday morning talking about how Baker Mayfield underthrew someone, missed this throw, missed a couple of throws that he should have made?
I said Baker Mayfield was the most accurate quarterback in football on Sunday, except for one throw. That's the reality.
Okay.
That's the reality.
Okay.
That's the truth.
You said that.
Correct.
I'm telling you this. Y'all said, I'm gonna remember this. Because I understand I don't have much of an argument considering how Ben Roethlisberger looked the last 5 weeks of the season last year. You're right about that. I don't have much of an argument. Y'all gonna pay for this because the Steelers, with the weapons that they have, get the man some protect. Get the man some. Chase Claypool ain't a weapon. Chase Claypool with Ebron, with Deontay Johnson, with James Washington, with Juju Smith-Schuster. That's not weapons for you.
I'll take the Bengals' weapons and I'll take the Browns' weapons over them.
Well, okay. All right. Listen, I'm not going to argue about that, But what I'm going to say to you is this. There's enough weapons there, and you look at Big Ben Roethlisberger, I'm going to watch Baker Mayfield, and I'm going to watch Joe Burrow, who I believe in both of them. But to sit up there and say that right now,
they're better.
They are better than Ben Roethlisberger, and he's the worst quarterback in the AFC.
Stephen A.
Y'all going to pay for this.
Let me get you right here. I'm going to get you right here. I'm going to make you quiet right here. Give me one thing that Ben Roethlisberger can do that those other cats can't.
Excuse me. I think he could throw the football better in clutch situations than they can at times. Me personally, I've seen him do it.
Let me help you.
I haven't seen him do it.
Let me help you. He has more experience.
Wait a minute.
He's got more
Joe
experience.
Burrow hasn't been in that situation yet on a professional level. And don't get me started with Baker Mayfield. You haven't shown me that yet.
Stephen A., one question for you. Of all those AFC North quarterbacks on Sunday, which one had the worst QBR and the worst completion percentage?
I wasn't paying attention. I'm assuming you're going to tell me Ben because of Buffalo.
Yes. You weren't paying attention.
Yes.
You watched that game so closely. You had the kids. You had the family. He wasn't paying attention.
I was paying attention. I was paying attention to my defense and special teams having to come through.
You didn't notice
because again, you got too many questions with your offensive line. That's what I was paying attention to.
Hold on. Dan Orlovsky, I need a breakdown. Can we get a illustration of this debate? I just want a breakdown of this particular debate by Stephen A.
I'll have that done by 4 o'clock today.
Awesome. Can't wait. Do it on the NFL Live set.
I wasn't paying attention.
All right, let's leave it there, guys. When we come back here on First Take, Tom Brady with some surprising sound. All the rookie quarterbacks, you might want to say that. Does Teflon Tom miss playing his old quarterback rival? Stephen A.'s thoughts on that next. It's First Take. We're having fun. Stay here. National championship. First Take will be there.
Danny Hurley going to hang a banner in a couple years. Stephen A. will be on here.
And Gamble will be there.
How do you get to Stores, Connecticut? I don't even know.
84.
I don't even know.
380.
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah. All right, guys. The future of the NFL looks bright at the quarterback spot. So many young players stepping into roles. Tom Brady's noticed that trend, too. He recently said this on the Let's Go podcast. I don't remember this many rookies playing. We talked about this, Dan. Gone are the days of Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning. You know, those are the guys I'm used to hearing about. So, Dan, the question is this. Which do you prefer, the young guns or the veteran quarterbacks?
I prefer the veteran quarterbacks. The guys, as athletic as the position has become, at the end of the day, it's always going to be about who can crush you with their arm and their mind. That's going to be the consistent greatness, is what guy is going to be able to figure out what the defense is doing, know exactly what their offense needs to do, and kill you with it. That's the reality, is I can do whatever. We're watching Tom Brady constantly do it. You guys remember the Gronk touchdown pass that he had the other night, the second one? Not the rollout, but the one where he's at the line of scrimmage, he checks in, he dumps it off to Gronk. That's always going to be the difference. You know, everyone raves about Patrick Mahomes' physical ability, and I love it as well, but I'll stand on the table saying he is as mentally as good as any young quarterback that we have in the game right now, certainly in his 5th season or his 4th season that we've had come in as a young player. So those guys that are able to just constantly be operators, insurgents, the athleticism has made them difference makers, no doubt. But to be great over 10, 12, 15 plus years, it is going to be about the operation and the mental aspect of it. And until those young kids really start to dominate in that way, like we watched Phillip dominate for such a long time, or Eli in certain moments, Peyton, Tom, I'll always take those old heads because they kind of played quarterback the way I feel is always going to be the separator, and that's the mental part of it.
Well, the operative word is preference. Which do you prefer? And I would say I prefer the young guns. And when I think about a Patrick Mahomes, of course I watch him throw the football and throw no-look passes and fling the football at an elite level. But we've also seen him make great plays with his legs, his scrambling ability. I love to see that. I think about Lamar Jackson, how electrifying he is. We've never seen a dude, not even Michael Vick, run the football from the quarterback position the way that he does. I remember when Deshaun Watson was playing, and we miss him tremendously this season because of all that he's going through, obviously, and we'll see how that pans out. But Deshaun Watson, as great as he was at Clemson and as great as he's been coming into the NFL and flinging that football, we'd actually elevate his level of notoriety if it were not for Patrick Mahomes, because that's how big time he is. It ain't just his throwing ability. It's his ability to run with the football. It's the opportunity.